Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, October 23rd, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. So we had the bulls start the morning off after QQQ held its 4-hour key support level. Since then, we've seen SPY consolidate a significant amount. If we're looking at the hourly time frame, from the low of pre-market to the high of the day, bulls saw a pretty significant move. We ended up going almost $2. Now we're pulling back and looking for an hourly higher low to form. If we do not see the bulls show up here in the next 45 minutes and make a move back towards the high of the day, then we don't have any hourly trend change, and the bears still have the control of the midterm timeframes. Also important to note, again, SPY's volume is just abysmally low. I don't think abysmally is a word, but it's extremely low. Trying to pull up the daily chart. Where are you? So daily chart. Some of the lowest volume days of the years have been recently. 39 million 2 days ago. 42 million has been low. There pretty much anything under 40 million shares traded is very low volume. And here we are sitting with 45 minutes left in the day, and we're at 21.6 million shares traded. So it's a low volume day. Anything above the daily higher low of 296.99 keeps the bulls in full control. We're watching QQQ 4-hour equilibrium from here. And we can see we have the high, low, double top essentially, double bottom. And we made it almost back to the midway point of that range. Midway point of that range would be about, let's see, $2. So 190, the mid to upper 192. So just under the midway point. And have we topped out? Have we set our 4-hour lower high? Can't say yet because we have a 4-hour inside bar forming. It's not an extremely strong recovery day. And the hourly time frame for QQQ is trying to change its trend as well. Low of pre-market, high of the day, and trying for an hourly higher low, but not convincingly giving it to us. The dollar is a daily bear flag setting up. We'll see if the bears are able to confirm that and follow through. Gold is still trading sideways, hitting resistance just under 1,500. Silver is sideways. Miners today got some follow through. Daily higher low is now set on miners, and the question over the next few days is, can we change the daily trend with a higher low and higher high for the bulls to get some follow through? So that's going to be a top watch. Oil bulls negating the weekly bear flag. So we had a daily trend change with a lack of follow through, a tight range. It broke bullish yesterday. It broke one level yesterday. We broke the second level today in reaction to the inventory report. We zoom out to the weekly chart, and the bulls now have a decent amount of space to work with. We have the high of 63.33. The low of the pullback was 51 essentially, which means 57 would be the midway point, and we've gotten up to 56 at this point. So almost a 50% retracement move, and we're going to be watching for a weekly equilibrium to form. But what today does is decreases the odds of the weekly bear flag, which to me increases the amount of time that we can stay within the S&P 500 weekly equilibrium, and it still keeps the bulls with a slight edge in that setup. Natural gas, still tight daily inside bar yesterday, and today inventory report will be tomorrow. Looks like the inventory report will either confirm the 4-hour trend change to give us the daily higher low and to head back towards key resistance, or will reject the 4-hour trend change and not give us the daily higher low. Bitcoin oversold bounce underway, got an initial position. One of my scale-in orders filled right at the bottom, 73.11, and currently going to hold on to that a bit longer to see if we can get an hourly trend change. At this point, it's about a half-day maker, but I'm going to see if we can get an hourly higher low and higher high to see the 4-hour oversold bounce get some follow-through. And the reason being, it's a smaller position, so giving it some more breathing room. So we'll keep an eye on the SPY bulls here at the end of the day to see if we can form any kind of convincing hourly higher low. And we'll start it off with BYND. So this is the kind of setup where I have not been watching BYND to make a trade at all the last few days. But now that I see this, I say, okay, if you give me a gap down open tomorrow, I'll play the oversold bounce. And that keeps me picky in the sense that if we don't see a gap down open tomorrow, I just don't take the trade. And it's no harm, no foul. I don't lose anything. I never was planning on making this trade. And I just go on and find the next trade. So if you give me the exact criteria that I'm looking for, I'll give you a trade. But otherwise, I'm going to leave it alone. So if we see a gap down open tomorrow, the daily RSI will be in the teens. 4-hour RSI will be down approaching single digits. Why I like it is this extended move right here. We've been weak for a long time, but you can see these 4-hour drops generally see little bounces, and we have not seen a 4-hour little bounce in quite some time. And also the fact today, just a straight drop. If we had seen a little hourly bear flag this afternoon, it would make the play less attractive to me. So again, just looking back historically on this entire pullback, do we have periods where we see a straight hourly drop with no bounce? And there was one in here. Even then, there was a little bit of bounce going on, but the bottom line is it's giving me the setup that I like with all RSI levels on all time frames approaching the teens. And if you give me a gap down open, that's going to be the last capitulation kind of flush that I'm looking for. And you can also look back here and see that there is some price action down in this level. We've got a resistance, or actually what I was looking at was resistance of 96.78, and then it acted as support a bit. So pretty much $96, $97, $98 range does have some price action here, which is where we are right now. And there is a support at 95.66 mixed in there. So a few support levels in the mid to low 90s that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. And again, big picture, we're looking for a monthly higher low to form. I will not mess with earnings or anything like that. I would just be looking for a 5% oversold bounce if I did make an entry. And we'll see what tomorrow morning gives us. NOW. So NOW is all bears. We see a bounce attempt today. Have we changed the hourly trend? And I would say no. So we had the low of pre-market, the high of the bounce. We're consolidating. Support is 214.68, and the bulls are trying to make their way back up to 225.73. So pretty much as we head into tomorrow, still going to be looking. So as we head into tomorrow, if we break 225.73, the bulls have some follow through, but I personally would still be looking for a 4-hour lower high compared to 237 with the exponential resistance in play tomorrow. So that's if we get a bull break, I wouldn't expect a ton of follow through. If we get a bear break, then we have a equilibrium to be watching, and it's probably going to be best visible on maybe the 2-hour time frame. I guess we'll stick to the 4-hour, but it would just be an inability to break resistance and then a pullback looking for a higher low. So the most important range as we head into tomorrow for me is 214.68 and 225.73, and whichever level breaks out of those two is going to dictate short-term direction for tomorrow. If we get a bull break, again, we are just looking for a daily lower high to form on any bounce. GASL. So GASL 727 is the most important resistance level. It's a bit of a double top with 726, two little resistances right there. High of today got just under that level up to 720, make that 712. So it's still a daily downtrend. If we can't break 727, it's just a daily lower high. Looking at the hourly time frame, healthy hourly consolidation, anything above 609 is an hourly higher low. If we lose the hourly uptrend without breaking 727, bears keep their control. So if we form a support level, try to see continuation tomorrow, fail to break 712, and then lose the hourly higher lows, we'll say that our daily lower high has likely been set. And of course, the inventory report tomorrow will have an impact. VII, keeping in mind we're looking for a weekly lower high to be set on this move. Anything under 957 is a weekly lower high. Daily chart, higher low has been established, so the uptrend on the daily is still intact. 777 is our higher low. Resistance is 820 and then 861. Losing the daily uptrend tells us our weekly lower high has been set, but we're not at risk of losing the daily uptrend after the big bull day today. So bulls need to break that resistance of 820 tomorrow to try and see follow through, and our hourly support level, anything above 777 will be an hourly higher low. So all about 820 resistance tomorrow. Facebook daily inside bar, pretty solid recovery all things considered, for the Facebook bulls. Hourly time frame. Don't really like the clarity there, but we have the low of the day, high of the day, and we don't really have a clear hourly high or low established. Looking at it on the 15-minute time frame. Finding a lot of clarity on the 4-hour time frames. I don't generally use the 4-hour time frame as much for stocks, not nearly as much, but the past couple days, it's really standing out to me on a lot of different names for clarity. And here, just looking at Facebook, big bull move. Even if we break the high of today, tomorrow, we're still looking for a 4-hour lower high compared to 190.65 in this downtrend. So that alone just keeps me from getting too bullish because we know a 4-hour lower high is very likely there. And as far as support goes, it's 184.44, and then the high of the day will be short-term resistance. I would say if we can't break the high of the day tomorrow and we drop down and break 184.44, then we're going to be looking back at the low of today with the possibility of a second daily inside bar forming because of the range still being so large today. So the high of today will be key resistance into tomorrow to see if this move can continue going, keeping in mind that 4-hour time frame has some decent clarity. Netflix. So Netflix is a daily inside bar. Inside bar has to break bullish for the bottom to be set on this, since this earnings reaction. So looking at it on the hourly time frame, bulls would have to hold 266.63 and then break the high of today to change the hourly trend. And if we cannot break 273.92, then we don't see a bottom set and the bears keep their control. So a couple supports, 266, 265, but bulls must break 273.92 to confirm the hourly trend change and then look for a bounce and a daily lower high to be set. EAT on the CSE. So EAT is trying to change the daily trend. We have a higher low attempting to form at 12, and the bulls have to break 15 to confirm that trend change. From there, we would just be looking for, and it's not even really, our weekly lower highs aren't even that clear. So again, this is one of those names where because it's a penny stock, every penny is a level, pretty much. So we saw a pullback of 50% of the bull move up. And the bulls are going to have to break the high of today tomorrow. And then we're going to have to break 15 and 16 to see the daily momentum shift take place. And again, we haven't seen any kind of bull cross on these exponential moving averages in the last 6 months. And if we change the daily trend, that bull cross will take place. So 15 or bust. Roku. So Roku is all about short-term support of 124.79. If we lose that level, you could make the argument that we have lost the daily uptrend, which would mean look for our weekly lower high to be set. So that's the most important support, and resistance will be the high of today, 131.87, as we're closing fairly weak. After 124.79, the next support is 122.53. And that would definitely be the first meaningful shift in momentum that we've seen since this daily bounce got started. So OH, yes, I am still in my position, but just to show you how my position sizing goes, again, I use way bigger positions for Canadian MJ on liquid higher exchanges than US MJ plays, especially if I'm swing trading. And this is only an initial entry. I had a second entry planned. If we got closer to this 492 support, we ended up only getting within, we pretty much were 3% above that support level. So I didn't make my second entry. So bottom line is we could drop 10% tomorrow, and that would be a day loser for me. So, you know, if you drop 10% on a CGC position of mine, I'm going to be down a week loser. So it's a very different scenario, which gives me a lot more wiggle room. But looking at where we stand right now, little bit of a fairly weak bounce attempt getting underway. And now that this RSI on the hourly has cooled off, it makes me more cautious. So I no longer want to make that second entry that I wanted to make this morning when the hourly RSI was down in the mid 20s, because it's a different scenario. So if we were to see this bounce top out with no follow through and then pull back down to a lower low, I would probably just exit my small position with a short term, or I should say with a small loss. Bulls must break the high of today, tomorrow, 540, to see any kind of bounce follow through. And just made a resistance attempt, but still unable to punch through at the moment. And then we'll just be looking for a daily lower high to form as well. And where we stand right now, pretty much right around break even. So again, small position. It's one of those things where it's just, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Don't really care a whole lot about that position because it is so small right now. And we'll cut it loose tomorrow if we don't get any bounce follow through. OGI. So OGI is trying to form a daily bull flag. I would say our daily high or low is set at 339, and the bulls have to break 380 to confirm it. So it's all about 380 over the next couple of days to try and change this daily trend. And if we fail to break 380 and drop down and break 339, it shows us the bulls losing a good bit of momentum. You want to be charting TRUL and not TCNNF due to volume and liquidity. We always want to chart the name that has more dollar volume. So daily inside bar today for TRUL. The bulls must break 1326 tomorrow for the daily higher low to be established. And then we'll be looking back up at the recent high. Things that would make me exit my swing position. So again, I entered my swing position down around here. And I would exit if we fail to break the top and then we lose the daily uptrend. I would be out. The only way that I'm going to keep this position is if we see continuation over 1375 to keep this daily uptrend going. So we want to see an increase in volume tomorrow and a green day breaking ideally 1326 and 1330, the high of the last few days. And that will have us looking back up at 1375. APHA, bulls looking pretty good today. So we're getting that follow through. So I'm still in a position here as well. Entered on Monday, was not confident with the follow through attempt yesterday, but certainly adding confidence today. That being said, I am still looking for a lower high compared to 554. That resistance level is still 10% away. So the odds that we're going to go 10% in this current market environment, 10% more, is not as likely, in my opinion, as seeing a lower high form compared to that level and then needing another higher low and just seeing things tighten up a little bit. So I am still in a position, but I am keeping in mind that I might want to take that profit before we get up. You know, if we see some green tomorrow morning, I might look to lock in profit and then take it from there. And now that I look at this hourly chart, that answers it for me. If we close here and start with green tomorrow, we will be due for hourly consolidation and I will look to lock in my profit. Anything above 468 will be an hourly higher low, but definitely will be due for hourly consolidation if we start tomorrow green with a little bit more follow through. BA is still looking for an hourly equilibrium. We got the low of pre-market, the high of the bull move, higher low is trying to form, and then we would look for a lower high, but we are going to run out of time here, of course. SPY has given us that hourly higher low. 5-minute trend change for the first time. Look at this consolidation. So we double topped and lost the 5-minute uptrend. That marked the high of the day. From there, it was all 5-minute lower highs and lower lows. And then the first higher low and higher high gives us the hourly higher low established and the bulls attempting an hourly trend change. CALX. So it does look like a climax candlestick, absolutely, on the daily 5-minute time frame. This rejection right here is definitely going to be more incentive for profit taking, but obviously this support line in the sand at 758, 759 breaking would certainly increase the amount of profit taking into the end of the day here. So I do consider that a failed bull break. And now the question is, can the bulls play defense to defend that wall of support? Actually, that's a good point, Dinsey. The volume could have something to do with why that 4-hour time frame is standing out. Curia is definitely looking weak. We have the low that we've seen on this consolidation being tested. It is a bullish reversal candle, but we need an hourly trend change. This move is coming right off the low. It's a nice bounce. That was a nice bottom fishing play that someone pointed out this morning. But have to change the hourly trend tomorrow with a higher low and higher high. If we get that, we zoom out and we look for a daily lower high to be set. Bulls have been unable to change the daily trend ever since we lost the daily higher lows a month ago. XBI daily consolidation is underway. We'll look for a daily higher low compared to 77.79, keeping in mind that we are looking for a weekly lower high. MSFT is going to be earnings after hours. Bull reaction to earnings, and we'll get all-time highs, joining Apple with the two most influential stocks probably in the whole stock market. And if we get a bearish reaction, the weekly uptrend will be in jeopardy. And we'll know within an hour. LABS. So Labs having a good day, just keeping the daily uptrend alive. On the weekly time frame, we know that anything under 549 is a weekly lower high, but there's no sign of the weekly top being set just yet. Our new most important support level is 413. We've got resistance at 445, which is a little double top, and then 462. Losing the daily uptrend tells us our weekly lower high is set, but no sign of it just yet. Bulls want to break 445 first thing tomorrow morning. Hexo had a mini short squeeze that just evaporated. Hourly. So low of the day, high of the day, trying to form an hourly high or low, but bigger picture is where it's clear. Did we change the daily trend? No. Low, high, higher low. Still just a lower high if we cannot break 301. CSIQ. Look at that daily 12-period exponential resistance the last 2 weeks. Just a good visual guide for rejection. Another lower high, 1904 was a top. So there's your daily trend change with zero follow-through, which means zoom out and look for a weekly bear flag. It is a weekly bear flag, and now we're just patiently waiting to see, are we going to confirm this weekly bear flag by breaking 1750? Anything on the daily chart under 1880 is just a lower high. And with a 1750 break, if we get it, the weekly bear flag is confirmed, and 1690 is the next level after that. SW.TO, looking for a daily higher low compared to 1390, but due to the size of the pullback, when we find that daily higher low, we will anticipate a likely lower high. Why is that? Because of the size of the pullback. We would have to see a percentage move. If this was our bottom, which we're not even sure if it is, but if it were, we would have to see 4.5% to see continuation. It's possible. It's just not the most likely scenario, in my opinion. I'd be watching for the potential of a daily lower high compared to that level. Another reason that I'd be looking for a daily lower high is because the weekly chart is just looking for a lower high as well. Look at that weekly exponential resistance as a guide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rejections so far. So bulls want to keep up this uptrend, but they need to change that hourly trend back in their favor ASAP to form that daily higher low. AMTD, still keeping up this move. Daily inside bar, up right near the high of yesterday, which is the high of the move. It's a double top, but after 38.80 is just psychological resistance. 39 and 40 would be next. Hourly uptrend is remaining intact. Hourly higher low trying to form at 38.40. So 38.80. And then we have some extended hours resistance levels to keep an eye on. So I would default to those extended hours levels because there's nothing else on the daily in that gap. If we lose the hourly uptrend, we zoom out and we look for a daily higher low to have to form with the last daily higher low at 34.58. Congrats to the patient bulls. Again, we are just looking for a weekly lower high, so we're keeping that in perspective as well. AMD. AMD is looking for a daily higher low compared to 30.29. Daily uptrend is intact. When we lose the daily uptrend, we'll look for weekly consolidation, but still intact at this point. Have we changed the hourly trend? Nope. So low, high of the day, higher low, have to break the high of today tomorrow for the daily higher low to be established and to be looking back up at 32.26 resistance. So shop on the 5-minute time frame. We just had a volume waterfall dump into an oversold bounce, into a 5-minute trend change. I'm sure it correlates with SPY end of the day action here. So SPY at 210 to 215, we saw this little higher low into a higher high. And looking at it on shop, 210 into 215. So there's definitely SPY correlation there, but just an hourly oversold bounce. And we'll look for an hourly lower high to form. MA. Again, no real signal that this was a bull move spot. Let's see, what time was that? Again, 2:20. When did the SPY bulls show up? They changed the 5-minute trend at 2:20. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong time here. 3:20. So where was 2:20? So SPY's low of the day was at 2:35. And the MA low of the day was a bit before that. But again, there's no real clear 5-minute trend change here. We just saw a little bounce, a lower high like all the other bounce attempts, and then just continued up here. 260.78 key resistance being tested right now. But there was no clear 5-minute trend change to indicate the shift in momentum at the end of the day. But it does look to be, we are hitting levels now on MA where the bears are not getting follow through. So we had a low of 258.95. We broke it at the low of the day with no follow through. And then we set a new low of the day, again with no follow through. That's now 3 levels down in the 258s. So it looks like the bulls, that's their line in the sand to defend. MSFT is definitely not one for day trading. And that's why, people ask, why don't we cover Microsoft as much if it's such a major holding in the tech sector? And the reason is because of that daily chart. I mean, you look at Apple's daily chart, and it's way more trader friendly than the Microsoft daily chart, which is a choppy mess. CRM. So CRM broke 142.08 support, though not much follow through for bears. So I need to zoom out because the daily chart is choppy. You can see plenty of weekly lower highs keeping the bears in control. First off, have we even changed the hourly trend? Not yet. Bulls have to break the high of today to change the hourly trend. And I would pretty much just be looking for a lower high. Anything under 152.97 is a daily lower high. But again, this is one of those daily charts that I look at and I say, wow, I have no interest in trading this chart. It is all choppy action. Even the weekly chart it makes it a bit more clear, but not by a whole lot. VREO. So the bulls have to see a break of 190 to prove anything. If we don't break 190, the daily lower high pattern continues. If we do break 190, it's 205, but looking at the weekly perspective, anything under 262 is a weekly lower high coming off the all-time low. So the bulls are attempting to build a base of support down at 150, but we have not seen any bull offense that is worthwhile at this point, and keep in mind that the average daily volume is under $200,000 traded. VFF strong close. Tomorrow would be a day that I'd start to be scouting a bearish entry on VFF. It's been a great move, but considering that the sector is still a bit timid for bulls and we've already bounced 20% in 3.5 days, I would be looking for the bulls to tire themselves out in the short term. Little double top, 797, 796. And if we can't break $8 tomorrow morning, we would expect a pullback. We will be looking for a daily higher low compared to 650, but just want to be cautious. Not necessarily, if I were in a bullish position, that doesn't mean I'm selling right now. I would give the bulls a chance tomorrow morning, but I would have my finger on the sell trigger tomorrow morning. So CGC bulls holding on. They're keeping their move up. We know we're just looking for a weekly lower high. We're not even close to the last weekly resistance. Hourly has not consolidated today, so we know hourly consolidation is likely not too far away. Anything above 2072 is an hourly higher low. And when we lose the hourly uptrend, we'll look for a pullback on the daily. Resistance is 2190, 22, and 2232. So we'll see if the bulls can keep up this slow and steady move into tomorrow. Pattern the past 2 days in a row has been a failure to break the high of the previous day in the first attempt in the first 15 minutes of the morning, maybe even longer, and then a recovery to break a bit later in the morning. ACB has not changed the hourly trend. We can call it a double bottom at 350 and 351, but we don't have an hourly higher low and higher high. That's the goal for the ACB bulls tomorrow, and that's one of the reasons why ACB is still one of the weakest major names. APHA, again, not crystal clear. I mean, we did top out with a double top at 490 and 489. So if you look at it a bit more condensed, you could say the 4-hour trend changed with the low, high of 490, higher low at 468, and then a bull break, but not a crystal clear hourly trend change. That being said, we know our daily higher low is established because of the amount of follow through that we've seen. And we're watching this inverse head and shoulders that we've been watching for the last week now. Again, I would be surprised if we can see another 10% to just go through that resistance level. But our daily higher low is set. There's no doubt in that. And it's clearly stronger than ACB and stronger than Cron. Well, it's on par with Cron, actually. SEDG, bull break to all-time highs. Hourly higher low of support to keep the bulls in full control is $90, $89.95. If we fail to break 92.60 tomorrow and lose $90 support, we will lose the hourly uptrend, which means zoom out and look for a daily higher low to form. Anything above 82.68 is a daily higher low. So that hourly uptrend will be on watch into tomorrow to see if the bulls can continue to hold it. LLNW, daily inside bar. If it breaks bearish tomorrow, our temporary top is set and we'll have to pull back for a daily higher low to form. If it breaks bullish tomorrow, then our top has not been set and the bulls keep their control. So key pattern is a higher low every day for 7 days. And if we break that tomorrow, daily consolidation is underway. IAN bulls using the low volume to their advantage. It's not taking much volume at all to see this run go. A few $100,000 can very easily push the price 5%. So solid close shaping up on APHA, CGC closing fairly strong. IAN closing strong. SPY bulls trying for this hourly trend change here, right into the end of the day. Good timing. NEPT daily trend has changed. 396 is the next key resistance level. We are just looking for a weekly lower high. I would say that 466 is the most important weekly resistance level. But a nice daily trend change. Hourly has not consolidated, and we're very overextended, so we have to be cautious of that. We will need an hourly higher low and higher high to believe that this move can have follow through, and it's not just an impulse move right at the end of the day here. But that's an inverse head and shoulders setup that followed through with our left shoulder, head, right shoulder breaking the neckline. And we'll see if this momentum, I assume it's news related, we'll see if that momentum can carry into tomorrow. Definitely some pressure being put on shorts. So SPY bulls knocking on the door of the hourly trend change. QQQ bulls keeping up. So let's look back in now on that QQQ 4-hour chart. It wasn't looking entirely strong. But end of the day move here is fixing that. So top may not be set. We'll look for a 4-hour lower high. If we start green tomorrow in SPY and in QQQ, we're going to be looking for a 4-hour lower high to form. And for this equilibrium, let's see how long this could play out. We start with some green. This could play out into Friday. Could get a break Friday. If we don't get a break of this pattern Friday, we'll be looking certainly for a break Monday. Although, again, we'll have to see how Microsoft earnings impact QQQ. And it's not surprising that SPY volume is so low because we're in a weekly equilibrium, and declining volume in an equilibrium is what we expect. So you better believe that when that weekly equilibrium breaks towards the end of the year on the S&P 500, again, ideally I'd like to see it tighten up a bit more, but we will expect volume to pick up when that break is cleared. I believe volume will pick up more if it's a bear break than if it's a bull break. So Cron's daily higher low is set at 806, and we're now looking for a lower high compared to 1056. And it's similar to APHA in the sense that we're not expecting to see a bull move to just see a higher high. We're expecting a daily lower high. It's a lot more obvious on Cron than it is on APHA. As far as the weekly chart goes, the big upper wick is kind of screwing up the clarity of the weekly chart. But what I would expect for Cron for the next week or two would be to top out wherever we set a lower high, pull back, hold one more higher low, and then how we break from there will dictate momentum to start November. Looks like SPY bulls failed. Double top at the all-time high at the moment. but not giving up yet. And today might be the lowest volume day of the year. It'll be in the low 30 millions once the bell rings. So, Dinsey will be live tomorrow. I'll see you all Friday morning. Spy Bull's given the high of the day one more chance. Have a good rest of your day.